Hi and welcome back to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏. Today guys, we're going to be taking another look at ANKR and specifically what has been going on most recently with the price action of this particular altcoin. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏. Right, with all that said, done and out of the way, let's dive into this technical analysis on ANKR here. So we're going to start things off with this weekly chart because this is really where we see the bigger picture of what is going on. There are, of course, these 5 impulse waves to the upside. Everything kind of really kick-started back in March of 2020, peaking out with wave 1 around the 10th of August or so. We had the first wave correction, the correction wave of 2 here. This is actually an interesting wave because it's quite flat in its nature. We kind of went sideways for quite some time here, and we actually bottomed out pretty soon in September of 2020, taking this down to some pretty decent low levels of around 0.004. Okay, then we went into a nice push to the upside for wave 3, where we peaked out in about the 22nd of March 2021, and this came in at 21.6 cents. So we can see basically we come down from these low areas down here of around 0.0006 all the way up to 21 cents. That was a total of 34,000% in gains. Now, this is really important that we understand what goes on here because we identify these projects, many of them. You could take MTV, for example, Silo as another, AGI, SDAO, just to name a few, Harmony, VeChain, whatever, right? Ultimately, we identify them when they're down here. They might seem like they're not doing a lot. They might just trade sideways. They might have these moments of, pullbacks where they go up to a pretty decent level, priced up there at 1.8 cents, for example, before coming all the way back down here to those lows of 0.004. Yet we can see that they get going. They absolutely perform well, showing us 34,000% in gains. So I really wanted to highlight at the beginning of this video before we dive into the shorter time frames and what is going on right now. And obviously to try to make sense of some of these frustrations in the space, because it might feel that you're not doing anything, but actually we're making pretty good progress and we are about to go for a big explosion back to the upside. So I really wanted to highlight how low the value of this particular altcoin was back in March of 2020. And obviously how high it got to in March 2021. So ultimately 34,000% in just 1 year. There is no bank that I'm aware of that will give you that kind of ROI. So very, very good. Obviously, once we did peak out with that 21.6 cent anchor, we did actually start to see a pullback. Okay, this pullback took a lot of people by surprise, specifically if they were FOMOing in on the way up here and chasing the green candles. We started to go sideways and we started to lose value. We went down as low as pretty much 4.7 cents. Okay, so it took a lot of people by surprise. Obviously, this was an accumulation zone. We highlighted this onto the members, and this is an area that you might want to be buying up some more ANKR. And again, we are trading sideways. This can be frustrating, but this is something that we have seen time and time again. We can say that we look at the second wave pullback. We can say, okay, well, the fourth wave was sharp because the wave 2 was flat, but we can also see the way out of here. We actually had a pretty interesting pump to the upside and then a sideways trade. We've already had this pump to the upside and we've started our sideways trade. If things repeat, then we should start to see a very steady, nice push to the upside as we go after that 693% target that we have set here for ANKR, which is about 77 cents. So again, we could smash through those targets. We could go much higher, but that is the Fibonacci area that I'm paying attention to right now, and something that I want to be focusing on, which is 77 cents. That is 693% from the current position. Of course, as the price moves, the percentage will also change, but the target never does. It's 77 cents unless there's a good reason to change that target. We can see that the stochastic RSI is overbought. And here we can see that we are, not looking for a pullback anytime soon. Instead, we are going to track this up here in the overbought area for quite some time. We take a look at that first wave. We were up in this overbought area for quite some time. We dropped down into the oversold area during the second wave correction before pushing back up into the overbought area for wave 3. And again, up here, we enter it in February. We didn't leave this area until April. So we can be up here for months. And this is good news as we continue wave 5. Okay, so although we're up in the overbought area, that is actually where we want to be as we want to continue continue to track this before we go into a bear market and start to see things kind of come back down. So overall, structurally speaking, this weekly chart is very, very good. Everything is there. Everything has been working in according to plan. And so far, 34,000% there. Slight pullback. And now we're looking to just get everything lined up, ready for that move to the upside. Now, when we jump down into our daily view, we get a little bit of a bigger picture or clearer picture over what's been going on most recently. So what we can obviously do is take a look at that wave 3 high, the wave 4 low. This is where we have our Fibonacci retracement tool. And basically this allows us to indicate some really key areas that we trade across pretty consistently. So for example, this high point that was achieved up here, we obviously came down during this initial kind of pullback, and we can see that we're resonating with several key areas. So we hovered around the 50% retracement area quite a bit. There was an area of basically support here, and basically we lost the support, we came down and we retested that as a resistance line before we come down to the 382, the 236, and then going down into these lower areas of accumulation as we spoke about earlier. Obviously on the way up, we find that the 382 is resistance, and again it was resistance over here, so that makes sense. We had a breakthrough recently, pushing up to the 50% retracement area, again getting rejected from there, with Bitcoin having a tantrum on Tuesday, pulling the rest of the altcoin market down, again finding support now on the 236, and looking to gear things up, ready for that move to the upside. We can see that we're oversold on this daily stochastic RSI, and right the way down here, plenty of room to grow to the upside. So now we're looking to see if we can line things up and slowly work our way towards the key areas on this chart, which are 15.2 cents, 16.7 cents, and 18.1. These are the areas that we really need to start to get working up towards, and where we want to see the kind of closed candle above, right? We need to see a closed candle above 18.1, and this is going to be a really strong bull signal that takes us to those next levels. So obviously there's a bit of work to get up to there, but once we're in this area, close this area here just above, that's where price discovery then kicks in, and we go after all-time highs yet again. This is something that has already happened on a few charts, right? We can talk about Cardano. It passed this area and it set up all-time highs. We can see Solana doing similar things, SDAO doing similar things. We have seen Matic do some working its way towards there. For example, we have Harmony 1 working its way up into that area as well, trying to get the closed candle above that 786. So what we're looking for here for ANKR is to slowly work its way up to this area, and then really focus in on this battle that's going to occur up here. Overall, the stochastic has plenty of room to grow, so that's not too bad, and everything is lining up nicely there as well. But we will, of course, check the AVI dashboard, right, for ANKR to make sure that there's nothing alarming happening here in terms of the underlying data. We can see that we haven't moved. We are still an A3 rating, and the AMI-HAD ratio, so no problems with liquidity, an A2 rating. The fear and greed index has come down nicely. No more are people looking to take profits with extremely greedy scenarios. Instead, we're more neutral, right? So we're not fearful, we're not greedy, we're just somewhere in the middle, which is a nice place to be. We can see that the Sharpe ratio is an A2 rating, again getting closer to our 50-day average, but I think we're going to get a reversal shortly. So again, not too bad in terms of risk versus reward. Profitability is the A1, it's the best it can be, with moving averages being A2. So overall, the underlying data does not indicate any problems with ANKR, and again, we just have to have a bit of patience as we continue the sideways trade and take out some of these key areas before we go up into this higher area above the 786 and a big bull signal moving further forward. Now, when we actually go down into our hourly view, this is where we start to see what happened with Bitcoin, okay? So here we obviously had a pretty good traction, right? We were tracking nicely to the upside, and we were looking to continue this as we were around this area here, right? We were looking to continue moving to the upside, but instead, actually, Bitcoin had a different idea. Bitcoin was going to take us down, okay? And that has the same case for many altcoins. Some obviously have recovered faster, but for us, we actually slipped back below our resistance trend line to the downside. And now here, we can obviously see that we are doing a couple of things that are really important, and why I'm not bearish on this scenario for the long term. I still think we are in a bull run, and this is down to the fact that we have got a low that was set, a higher low that was set here, and another higher low. Overall, we're setting higher lows, and that's a very bullish thing to kind of be noting here. So over the last few days, if we were to get this rejection point after the bounce, so we fall down, we bounced up, we should have gone down to lower lows if we were bearish. But the fact that we are actually tracking up with these higher lows, that's actually a really positive sign. So we're now looking to try to get above this trend line, trying to work our way back to the progress that we were previously. Obviously, we're oversold, so we are looking to have a short-term push to the upside as well. And again, that underlying data from advice.io does not indicate any issues either. We also couple this by taking a look at things that are going on with Glassnode, right? We always like to make sure that there's exchanges, whether or not we are seeing any potential inflows with Bitcoin to the exchanges for any potential dumping. We can see that there wasn't actually too much activity actually going on Tuesday, which meant that actually either they were building up positions on the exchanges over a long period of time, so it was unnoticeable, or it wasn't actually institutions or whales that were playing Bitcoin at their own game, but actually it could have been several bad actors in the space basically pushing the price down on Bitcoin. But it was bought up very, very quickly and has had since recovered. So overall, we always like to keep an eye on what is going on with Glassnode and Bitcoin inflows, outflows, and various different things, metrics around Bitcoin, because it does lead the space. So in the case of ANKR here, everything is looking okay. It looks like it's still recovering well, and it should continue to recover in the near future. And there's nothing indicating to me that we should be very bearish about the scenarios that have been unfolding here. Overall, we'll have to monitor the situation to see how things do play out, but I am pretty confident that we should be having a pretty decent correction back to the upside in the near future. Guys, hopefully you have found this brief update with ANKR useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.